So what can we do here? Nothing. Do we have a, no, you can't cherry pick your data. If you're going to, you have to look at all the data. Of course, you liberals don't want to admit the fact. Maybe, let's come back over here. And I'm going to put these two things. Now this is actually last week's data, but that's okay. I really don't think that is going to change that much. Yep. Come in here. Okay. Now I've already got some scripture, but I'm not quite sure what they are. Okay, I'm also going to welcome Twitch audience. I'm going to look at some data from the Center for Disease Control. It has to do with age and sex. The COVID-19 data as it relates to age and sex. Okay, uh, but when you look at the data, what's be obvious is the single biggest determining factor who lives and who dies is age. And if you're above 65, I'm 65, 60, almost. I'm about 65 and a half. And we'll see exactly which category I fall into here. But let's come back over here. Honestly, I haven't seen any data on the CDC for race yet. Hmm. So this is CDC age, sex, year, month, day. Let's try this. Let's come back. I plot too good. So let's come back over here. You know what? Eh, let's do this one right here. Okay. Now let's take a look. I'm pretty sure that this is what this is about here. Okay. Let's do this. Let's see what happens if we do this. Undefined columns. Okay, I think I may have already done that. So I may in fact not need this because I've already done the data clean beforehand. Okay, so now we see this. Let's take a look actually at the date itself. So here you can see the problem with the date. So we go pull out the first 10 uh, characters out of each date field to create a new date field. Sex, age. Once again, notice this here, there is no overlap, which is kind of curious. Okay, here's our, okay, good. Okay, okay. So now you can see the new date here. Okay, so what can we do first? So therefore, if this, so the first date is February 1st, 2020, and the maximum date is day 19. So this could be the current date in that case, because that'll be last Saturday with two NAs. Okay, good. So what is the, we don't need that anymore. Let's run these two things right there. Okay, so this is deaths. Average number of deaths for this data set is 7,108. But again, this is a data set for the week, maybe. The maximum number of deaths. Now, of course, the problem with this is there's all kinds of problems with the data set. Okay, that you got the females. Okay, that's not the sex isn't the problem. The problem is the cumulative totals, all sexes. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to create a couple of data frames, and the same with age. You got all ages also. So the next thing we do is we come across here, and we create two things. We create a one with ages all, and one with ages not all. And then we calculate a cumulative total for by age and date, right? Notice that for practical purposes, this is always going to be the y variable, and this is going to be the x's here. So we do a sum total here, and then we pull out uh, the current week or the current spike. Now this is somewhat interesting. Some people kind of poo-poo this. What I want you to understand here is that these numbers are not reaching uh, zero. Yes, there are some days when individual groups may not have any deaths reported, but that's to be expected. Okay, now now I'm going to create a data frame. It contains the one, two, three people at the highest risk. 65 and above are at the highest risk, and 85 and above are even at a higher risk from dying of COVID-19 if they catch it. Okay, then we're going to do plots by selected age groups, 65 to 85. Okay, this is here. So now you can see this spike right down in here. Once again, that's not to say that there's zero deaths, but we could of course take a look, right? Let's take a look at my data. As you can see in this data set, there is no zero dates. So for the date range here, there's always a death. There's always a COVID-19 reported. Okay, that's what that says. That's all that's saying here. What about down here? Let's see, September 4th. Okay, okay. So this is for week ending 9/19. Okay, okay. Now you can see here, you can clearly see that the what would happen if we came here also? Let's come back over here. This doesn't quite make sense because no, if that's the case, then we need to have it. If this is the 19th, it's 12th. Okay, so this would be for right. This would be total deaths by age group for week ending September 19th. Okay, so now you can see here. Now you can see what's going on here, can't you? There's this huge spike up, 55 and above. but the biggest deaths are 75 and above. So there lies a potential problem. Okay? Now, what we can do here now is, but this includes, and this may not be correct either because I'm including, so does that work okay? Okay, we're taking out all ages. All right, we're taking all ages. There's only gives us male and female. So we should be able to take this data here then. And maybe do a total by, let's do this. Let's try. What I really want to do is, what happens if I come back up here and I say, see, we can do a fill by sex. Okay, so let's say not all. Maybe that's, hmm, okay. Get rid of that because it doesn't include a age. Let's take a look at this one here and see what this one does for us. So what we really want to see is so we don't want all ages. So we want not all. Hmm. So what do we want here? Well, yeah, X to be okay. Let's see what happens here. What we want to look at is something by sex. Now we could of course hmm, that's sort of interesting that they appeared to stop tracking all sex after a while. That's interesting. Let's do a coordinate flip. Look at this. Look at this huge number of all sex. That's crazy. What use can that number be? It certainly can't. It certainly cannot determine whether or not there is a. Well, no, we don't want all sex, do we? No, wait. There. So now you can see male and female deaths. Maybe we don't want a flip here. Okay. Now, what does this tell us? How can we do a side by side? What if we change this to color? Doesn't really change anything. Hmm. What would happen if I did a? Well, I could split them out. I could do a. Actually, I can't think of what it's called. You know what? This is really strange. This makes it look as if they're really pretty equal. Because the distance from here, from 0 to here, is what? Uh, 20, 30,000, and from 30,000 up till say 60,000. Huh. Can he really be that close? I mean, it could be a slight. I thought there's a lot more difference in that. Let's see if we can figure out how to do a side by side plot on ggplot. Remember, Google and YouTube as your friends. Side by side bar plots. Okay, so we got all the numbers here. Nothing down there. Now we come down here. Let's just try adding this line and see what happens. This could be one of those things where, once again, it's an incredibly simple thing to do. See if this does anything. Okay, let's put uh, that works. What we want to do is, okay, let's try this again. Okay, so we want to put the fill. Let's see what happens this time. Not what I was expecting. Not what I was expecting. Maybe the problem is because I don't have a total for it. Okay, well, yeah, that may be right. Well, as you can see, now this is interesting. Let's run this from the top and see what happens. Mm-hmm. So what we're seeing here now is by month, male and female. The wires are so many things. Is it once? Well, it must be one for each week. So this is the first week, except for the fact that it's backwards. Or not. So it starts back here. So this is January, February, something like that. So you can see that it seems to affect females. There seems to be more deaths So it seems like there's more deaths as a result of females. But it seems that COVID-19 is affecting people over the age of 65 and also females more than males. That's interesting. Right, because the pillars represent the total for that day or that week. Um, we could probably do some type of function to calculate. Well, I don't know. By month somehow would be very helpful. All right. So we would want to do a cumulative total by week and by month and sex. Okay. But that's promising. That right there is promising. It certainly looks like. Just affecting females more than men. Okay. So the problem is this is so much too much detail because this is probably either weekly or daily numbers here. Okay. Take a second look up here. Because you're going to have a week for each. So this is already split out as far as weeks. Right? Okay. Could we do a total? Did I already have a? What did I have a program for aggregate functions? What would happen if I did a? We want to do this. Down here. Okay. Let's call this AAB. You know what we can do? We should be able to do AA by sex plus Let's take a look at AB. So we reduced it to a single. Let's try this. Okay, good. So this narrowed it down a little bit. This narrowed it down a little bit. And we look at it on a weekly basis. It looks a lot even. It looks a lot more. So again, we could be a slave to a reporting cycle at some point here. Why does this look so much closer than the one above it? Let's do one more thing. I will say I'm actually proud of myself for getting this side by side plot to work. By the way, look up here. If you look up here, it appears that there's a much greater script. Well, what is this? 5,000. This to be 7,500 up to here. But one thing is clear is the pattern is the same. I mean, it shows the same trend line here. So maybe this doesn't look quite as bad. Maybe this is more. But here this says that the males have more deaths. Of course, this is for all age groups. Okay. So we apparently have two different interpretations. Uh, one seems to indicate that females have more deaths than males, and the other one says that males have more deaths than females. Ideally, what we need is a we can just do a quick. Let's just do this. All we're going to do is go to age and sex. Let's say C. Okay. Well, obviously, males have more deaths than females, which is sort of interesting. Males have what? One, 101,819 deaths, while females have 86,647 deaths. Interesting. Okay. So the second one would seem to be more accurate. So I'm going to guess that because of that, okay, okay, I see something here now. Okay, so what do we learn from this exercise? I don't expect this to change that much from week to week. Not found. Oh, so let's take a look one more time back up here at the top. What we're seeing here is apparently a clear decline in the number of deaths by age group. They all, at least down here, are a little flatter, which is sort of interesting. I'm not quite sure what that is. But you also have to understand some of these numbers are not to zero. Okay, those certainly aren't to zero. But by the same token, if we were to look at say months and days, you would see days when they're even in the middle of now. Even if we sort the numbers by days, by date. Okay, if we sort this. See, right there's a zero. Here's the thing: more zeros, ones. You do see some lower numbers, low enough to not be seen, not to show up. Not to show up here. It doesn't mean they're not going to showcase deaths tomorrow for some of these age groups. Some of these age groups, we just don't see deaths. Under 100, 1 to 4 even. Okay. Under age, 15, there just is not a lot of deaths. So of course this is going to dive down. But you know what? Remember, these are dates. These are cases by these are deaths by date and age group. And here you can see even down here, this is the highest risk group. 65 to 85 is the highest risk group. Now you got this. That's not zero. If this is 250, then what's this? That means this is about 125. So this is going to be 75. Okay. If you look at the deaths by age group as of September 19th, you see the real problem here. 65 and above has a much larger chance of dying. It's just that. But look down here, 1 to 4, 1 to 14. Look how few deaths there are in the 25 to 34 range. Unfortunately, we don't have. I don't think we have cases reported by age. Under one, nothing. So if you plot these, you're going to see a decline, but you may not see totally zero. Okay, and now we have this. Look, the first thing, notice the trend follows exactly uh, females, males, females, males. So as you see here, males really are paying a little higher price, and this includes all ages. Okay, deaths. All right, by week. Okay. So once again, you can see males are higher, maybe 2,000. Well, this is 101,019 versus 86,664. So there's a 20,000 difference in deaths for men and women both. We could come back over here, someplace, and let's take a look at this. Okay. Okay. So I think I'll call it quit for right now. You can definitely see age is the single biggest factor as far as who lives and who dies when you catch COVID-19. It's more dangerous to be a male right now as far as COVID-19 than a female, but not that much difference. So, I'll catch up with you in a couple of days once the new numbers are, I'll check tomorrow if the new numbers are released. Uh, then I'll come back. I'll rerun this report for us. Anyway, thanks so much for stopping by and spend some time. And I hope this report has been useful to you, to all my good people on Twitch and YouTube.